you call yourself a delegation expert. Okay. How would you define the delegation expert title?
That's interesting. I think it's more of a I've built two Inc. 5000 companies, have 140 people working for me. And the way to grow like that is by constantly delegating. So there's so many different types of delegations, right? Which is you just got started in business and you need to make a list of everything you do, highlight all the things out on that list that you hate doing and that are taking up your time to do what you want to be doing, and start with that. Like, get your first executive assistant, make them virtual because it's cheap, and just start delegating that list. And then there's well, now
That's important what you just said, though. The first step to growth is actually, I would say it's necessarily like the task that you hate doing, but it's the nitty gritty granular work. Like, hey, where is your time best spent? Something like block A, which needs to be done, but it's not an ROI on your time. Or block B, where if you do this or more of this, you're going to get a much bigger ROI. And that's where then, okay, the block A, then let's throw that over to the admin assistant to be able to do those tasks. That way I can do more profit driving, revenue driving activities instead.
Exactly. It's two things. It's things that you don't like doing because it saps your energy, and it's things that are getting in the way of your highest and best use of your time, because then you can't spend time on the things that do have the ROI, right? And that's when I go back to, you'll never have money until you hire someone, because I live that. As soon as I hired my first person full time, I got rid of all of the admin things, the answering the phones, the faxes, because this was 2011. I was doing all marketing, networking, trying to do the actual legal work because this is a law firm. And as soon as I did that, I doubled my firm's revenue the next month, and I never looked back. So that's like it's not if you're on your own, there is a way. Like, you can hire someone, you can hire them for pretty inexpensively. You can fill their time, because let's say they are running just a podcast, right? Well, what else do you have in your life that you could give that person? Because at the price point, it really doesn't make sense to not have that person not use. It's called Think and Grow Rich, David, and I really believe in this. It's not called Work and Grow Rich. You can think your way into so many things. There's an answer, right? And if you have a mastermind, some other people to talk through things with, you can figure out a lot of cool things. Like, I would rather pay someone $1,500, $1,800, $2,000 a month full time, and have them tell me I've got about 15 extra hours of capacity a week. And I think, like, how can that person help me make more money than I would save $500, a month, and say, oh, I only need that person for 20 or.
That's a really good way thinking about it too. And I think too many entrepreneurs, business owners, executives, they get, they look at it in that way, like, oh, I could save $500 a month if I do it this way, instead of turning the tables around, like, hey, well, what else can I have them do to drive more revenue, and fill in that extra time? We face similar challenges, I guess you can say, with my day job, Vision 33, because, we're selling ERP, SAP, and Sage software, and that's business process automation software. Now, with that's difficult because we get a lot of the same business owners that have that type of mentality. Like, hey, it's going to cost me 10 grand to automate that one portion of the system, or integrate this or that for the automation. And they think about it like, oh man, I'm not spending 10 grand for that. But if you actually calculate it, it's like, well, you're spending 8 hours a week to do it manually right now. Okay. In 3 years, how much of a savings is that going to be compared to the one-time cost? And it's the same thing. They have the tables reversed. They think of the expenditures instead of what they could be doing with that extra time to produce more revenue.
It's a really great point. The other thing that people do is they go price shopping, right? And the old phrase, you get what you pay for. It's like, do you want the cheapest brain surgeon, right? Do you want the cheapest any doctor, lawyer, like the cheapest free agent on the market? If you can get Michael Jordan, right? Well, no, but I got Spud Webb. Like, why are you bragging about taking the cheapest person possible? There are skill sets, right, that all human beings have, and the people that are better usually come with a higher price tag because they're smart enough to know that they command more money. And what we do is we find, again, we have a system and infrastructure and software that we recruit about 250,000 people per year that apply to work with us, and we're whittling that down to less than 1,000 who we place.